in there.
Oh, holy crap, dude.
I'll get you some water.
If he'll chill out a bit.
It's a nice fish.
Oh, crap.
I gotta wipe my glasses off now.
Wow, dude. How can you still be so spunky? Ow.
Oh, he's nailed.
Oh, great. Now we're gonna have more water. Okay. Difficult, aren't you? Oh. Well, here we are. Our first.
Said that again.
Here we are, first full day out. We've been here since about 5:30 or so, and this is our first bite. It's just passing 9 now. It's been extremely slow. Pretty much like all our season's been this year. It's just the fish just aren't biting. This guy here, he's very angry. But yeah, it's just, we don't know what to do. We have Dave from Monster Carp here, John's here. Dave has a snowman on right now. I had a double acid pear pop-up, and John's gone with a zig, and nothing is attracting them. So I decided to go with a little pack bait to see if maybe that could spur them on, and apparently it worked.
They're stealing your pack bait.
Okay. So hopefully this is a sign of things to come, but it is so quiet out here right now. Okay, I'll put you back because you've calmed down. Yeah? Okay.
Go Team Goldie!
You have to wait a sec. Wait. Double things over here.
Oh, perfect.
Woohoo! Okay, I can go home now. I got my fish.
As you would have seen by now, Goldie has had a fish. I really don't think it's fair. Dave and I are working just as hard, if not harder. But yeah, the first bite came to Goldie. And as he mentioned, it's been a fair few hours that we've been here. We've had fish rising all over us. They're on the bait. We know that. We're getting liners. We're getting these little quick pickups. And we just can't translate them into bites. Now, this year has been tough with the prolonged winter, very kind of up and down spring. The fish have just not been moving in the numbers. We've been getting lucky, you know, a few fish here and there on these little short 2-hour sessions. You know, the schedule's not opening up as much as it did last year. But we've had some really good fish, you know, just a few weeks ago nailing my new PB. But the mornings have just not been doing it for us. We've really been crushing it on our late afternoon, evening bites, you know, getting a number of fish, with the mornings producing 1 or 2 here and there. But as Goldie mentioned, this is our first full day out, actually since the tournament back in May, and I believe we're on like the 30th of June today. So we're really working hard to try and maximize our efforts for today. You know, we've got a sunrise to, you know, after sunset kind of session coming in here, and we were really hoping that it would kick off. We pre-baited yesterday. We got here, as we walked into the spot, there were fish rising less than a rod length off the bank, and they've stayed pretty consistent. You know, we'll get a half hour where we won't see anything, and then we'll see 30 fish rise. So the pods are moving through. We're just not sure what they need. We've been chopping and changing. We're all doing something different. In fact, I'm taking this zig off and trying something different in probably the next 5 or 10 minutes. Goldie's putting bait out again. And yeah, we're trying to put together the pieces of the puzzle for this season, and we're just not sure what's missing. Luckily, the weeds are starting to come up. They've not been present at all up until now, and usually this should be right thick and choked with weeds. So we're hoping that naturals are starting to come into play. These fish are going to start cruising a little bit more and getting their noses down to feed a little bit more. But who knows? With the heat of today, the way the weather's scheduled to be, the pressure could change. The fish could move way up. They could go right down. They could be on the feed. They could be off the feed. Everything is up in the air at this point. And we're hoping we've got one piece of the puzzle with what Goldie's doing to have gotten that bite. If we can make that happen one more time, then I think we'll be able to put the pattern together. It's just going to be a lot of work to get things going, but I'm pretty confident once we get things kicked off, I think it's going to stay in a good way. It's your turn, Dave. You're allowed to get a bite. It's okay. Goldie, you're done for the day, just so you know.
I already said that. I can go home now.
Yeah. Now I'm going to send you to Tim Hortons. All right, I'm changing this rig. Are you still eating your sandwich, Dave? It's crazy. I love how Goldie's not getting up to help.
I'm eating my donut.
He's eating his sandwich. Still, it's the biggest one of the day. So, Goldie, you suck.
Biggest because it's the only one we weighed, or did he weigh his?
No, his was much smaller than this. There's no point in weighing it.
Oh.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like all that stuff.
The audience is yours.
Well, here we go. Little mid-sandwich break from doing nothing, catching a fish finally. Feels good. There's always things competing for your time, work-life balance, and all that. So, finally got a little session put together with the boys here, John and Goldie, and hopefully we get a couple more fish before we're done. But regardless, it's good to get out for a couple hours uninterrupted. So, thank you.
Look at that, eh? Scale it there and there. Take a picture, it'll last longer. Take a picture, it'll last longer, eh? Okay, one for the magazine. Putting the camera all over the place, Goldie. I'm screwing it all up.
It feels good after all that heat. Get down in the water. It's your turn, John.
Dave, don't move.
Here's your mom. Where's your mommy at?
If they want to hang out with us where it's safe, that's fine. What do we got over there that maybe they could huddle up and be safe? Just a place to keep them protected.
You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. There you go. Okay, you stay there. There you go. Is that good?
They're preening now, they must be happy. They're going to sleep.
Hey, Goldie, are you the duck whisperer?
Yes, I'm the duck whisperer.
Oh, well. If they're safe here, let them hang out here. But they just came all the way across the river at us.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
We'll name one Nash and one Corda. Can you tell them apart? Not a big one. But man, like hours of just nothing. I thought I'd just start to cast at some showing fish. But that was the third cast and boom. The ducklings are out for a swim. You guys are in the way. The fish is right underneath you. Come on, out of the way, guys. Come on, guys, get out of the way. Oh, fish going down. finally, it's not a blank for me. It only took, what, about 10 hours? Nice little guy. Oh, it feels better. Actually, there's a really neat scale pattern to this fish. It's the same on both sides, where it's just a slightly distorted common, but I don't know, the scales look really neat. Finally off the mark. Took me all day. The ducklings are jumping up my lap. Finally, just got so fed up. We've tried boilies, we've tried pop-ups, we've tried zigs, and it's just not working. What are you guys doing? It just wasn't working for me, and so I finally got fed up. You know, the ducklings were sleeping under my chair, and I thought, well, I'm gonna cast around at some showing fish since they keep jumping over the bait. And yeah, the third cast just to the left of Goldie's line and ripped off in my hands. So I am off the mark, and I'm very happy about it. Get back in the water. That's a male. So that one's milting. So they are starting to spawn for sure. That's the first one we've actually seen show signs of it. Come here, you two. And there's our little buddies that came to hang out with us. We think they got displaced from their nest and came all the way across the river to, I don't know, just assuming we were safe, and well, they were right. We're doing everything we can to look after them and give them a safe spot. And hopefully Mama or Daddy Duck will come around and we can reunite them, but if not, it's a good thing my family has a farm that we can take them to and they'll be safe. So for now, little Corda and little Nash are just hanging out with us for the day while we catch some carp. And speaking of carp, let's get this one back and hopefully get another bite. See the fishy? Look at the fishy. Okay, go back and sit in the shirt. Goldie, you want to take the kids?
Yeah. Come on.
Look at the scales. This is gorgeous fish. Go to your room. You're right, that water is cold. Like if they are spawning, I'm surprised because the water is not what I would think is warm enough. That's probably like the weeds are barely just coming up. I don't know. I think they should still be feeding, but obviously they're getting ready and into that mode. I don't know, we just gotta keep trying and see what happens. Alright, it's been rather slow for the afternoon. So I was lucky, I got my fish. So that's one for each of us. Sadly, Dave did have to go to work, so he was reluctant, but you know, he went. He's got responsibilities, had to take care of them, so you know, we'll get out with him again soon. But he was kind enough to leave us his rig. Not necessarily to use, but just to go over what he actually did, because it's not something I've actually shown in any of our videos yet. Ducklings are running around under my chair. So yeah, it should look pretty familiar. Definitely over, you know, in the UK and Europe, I guess it's the Ronnie rig is quite popular. Just a boom section from a swivel, split shot on the boom tied to a ring swivel that is hooked directly to a size 4 universal perfection with some shrink tube. We'll have to keep it all tight, I guess. And then he's got a swivel on the hook with a hook bead, a pineapple pop-up, and a coconut pop-up. And this is what he got his fish on earlier. Now, out of everybody I know, the only two people I've actually seen use this rig is Demir and now Dave. And yeah, they both swear by it. They say it's a good rig. It seems to get a really good hook hold. Not something I think I'm a fan of myself just because of all the metal, but you know, if it's working, you can't really say anything bad about it because we're in the game of catching fish, and if it's catching fish, well, I guess it's worth having around. But you know, not necessarily my cup of tea, but it is neat. Very, very tidy rig, and it worked. Funny enough, oh, get off my shoe. I'm sitting on my shoe. Oh, I'm sorry, you getting jealous? So, Goldie was using a different rig earlier himself. That's what he got his fish on, was I guess it was like a double pop-up rig.
It's still what I have on there.
Oh, that's what you still have on there? And yeah, mine was nothing I was doing on the bottom. I tried pop-ups, I tried zigs, nothing was working. Just did a little stalking back and forth with a really light setup just to have a slow sinking bait so that if one was cruising through it would see it drop down. And luckily I think it was the third cast I managed that fish, but we haven't had so much as even a liner since. At least in the morning we were getting liners and wondering why we weren't getting bites. Now we are not getting anything, despite the fact that the fish are still rising all over the place. Are you guys gonna go to sleep or what? Yeah, it's hot. The wind has kept us cool, but I think because it's now late in the day, I guess we've been here for about, what, 13 hours, 14 hours?
Yeah. About 14, yeah.
About 14 hours, so the sun should be starting to get over on the horizon across from us, which usually signals a bite time over here. So I guess all we can do is wait and see. Oh, that's just out from my spot. So that's 2 over yours and now 1 over mine.
No, I repositioned, so...
Oh, did you?
Right to where those guys were jumping up.
Ah, so you went over a little bit.
Yeah. So I probably scared them over yours.
Well, either way, we've still got activities. So the fish are still here. We just got to get them to get their noses down. These ducks are falling asleep again.
Yeah.
This is one of those moments where everything's so peaceful and calm, and it gives you that whole feeling of connection with nature. And then my alarm screams off, and I jump up like a fool.
And nature goes flying.
Well, they are birds. Well, here we are coming up on 10 o'clock this evening. The mosquitoes have come out in full force and starting to wreak havoc. The ducklings are asleep in Goldie's sweater, and yeah, other than a few almost promising knocks and bumps right as it was getting dark, there has been nothing. The fish were still rising, had a couple of pickups, but didn't result in any bites. So now we're at the point where, yeah, about 10-15 minutes, we're gonna pull the rods and head home. So we're doing the slow pack down of everything else. I suppose the important thing is to look at it. We're in a day full of heavy wind and really extreme heat. I think it was 39 degrees today it went up to? 39 degrees. It's hot. Like I said, the wind was nice. As strong as it was, it kept us cool. You know, we managed 3 bites. You know, 3 fish bit, 3 fish landed, and none of us blanked. It was good, and it's something to take away from the session as a positive. I really hoped we would have done better. We were expecting to do better, but we got no reason to complain. So yeah, the slow pack down begins. The pods will come down, the rods will get rested on a chair, and we'll just listen for that drag and maybe get one more before the official lines out, time to go home. But if not, still a worthwhile day, and we'll look forward to the next session. I need a bite. You can hear the fireworks over the falls, eh?